Heart of Dartmouth, Anatomy of a Murder, How to Kill a Hospital. There is a template for killing off and privatizing important local services like cottage hospitals, libraries, etc. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we present the warning signs. Before the public are made aware that anything is in the pipeline, there will likely be telltale signs to look out for. Staff will probably have suspicions that there's a rabbit off somewhere. So keep your eyes and ears open for scuttlebutt and intel from workers in the institution. In Dartmouth, the dirty tricks and data wrangling started early. Step 1. Data manipulation, making your case. Workers reported that managers were attempting to demonstrate a lack of demand and use by deliberately sending patients to hospitals that were much further away. This allowed them to report data that appeared to show little demand by the people from Dartmouth for the hospital. This was achieved by deliberately rerouting patients to Brixham and Totnes hospitals in order to manipulate and massage the statistics. A survey of the hospital building found it to be in good condition but in need of about £375,000 of refurbishment in order to operate for a further 5 to 10 year period. Step 2. Cover up and sabotage, gaslight the public. There's nothing to see here. In order to further scupper the hospital, new staff posts were offered at 2 pay grades below qualification, a direct sabotage of recruitment. Over the past 10 years, those staff remaining have lost over 20% of their income in real terms as their responsibilities increased, so their wages fell. Staff shortages and poor pay and conditions having long been the main reasons given for a mass exodus of about 400 NHS staff every month for years. The Trust, however, reported the difficulty of getting staff in rural and cottage hospital settings because of the housing crisis. Totnes MP Sarah Wollaston, a woman who doesn't know her own mind or anyone else's and has been a Tory, Lib Dem, UK Change and Independent MP, as well as campaigning both for and then against Brexit, invited Minister Jeremy Hunt to visit a deliberately half-empty hospital, thereby confirming their line that there was no demand. Local charities were invited to a behind-closed-doors meeting where they accepted grants for providing services once they were no longer available locally, under the pretense of these being representations and consultations with the community. Step 3. Political theatre, the public disengagement. The engagement process consisted of a 2-sided glossy pamphlet delivered with junk mail that most people didn't even see, and an invitation to be consulted at a local school. This was attended by about 220 people. They agreed they would like more care delivered at home when possible, which of course it turned out wasn't actually an option. Assurances from the Trust, via MP Wollaston, that no services would be removed until its equivalent was up and running in a new fit-for-future setting was in fact not a promise, but merely words. The hospital and minor injuries unit were closed abruptly, and for those who didn't get the invite to the sham consultation, it was a shock. A meeting was arranged for the MP, local council and trust to come to Dartmouth and explain to those in attendance what was going on. The trust squirmed and failed to satisfy the residents' concerns, so 2 protest groups were formed, and residents chained themselves to the hospital and held marches, fundraisers and other events, as well as sending legal letters to the trust, but it was all ignored. Step 4. Help the building to fall into disrepair. Closure, the building was left to rot for 7 years, and even damaged from within to help the decay by a private contractor hired by the trust. Despite photo and video evidence of damage being done, no one was charged. Step 5. The final betrayal. Make a fat profit. Sell off the building. It recently sold for just over £1 million. The buyer wishes to remain anonymous, and there it is, true crime aficionados. How to sell off a public asset for no other reason than cost-cutting and pocket-lining.